All right, good afternoon, everyone. So we're just going to look here at the close of the market today, April 23rd. We had some crazy action going on. Gilead's drug failed. It was leaked onto the WHO's website. There was a trial by a group of Chinese scientists. I haven't gotten to the point where I read the article or read any news on it. I just know that it affected the market. But just give me a second. Let me filter this. Let the people filter it, and we'll start. Also, I just want to comment. I think the top is in for the day. That little pop right there. So this pop on SPY, it's 281.50. I think that's going to be the high of the afternoon. So stocks sold off pretty hard. Um, when that news came out, it was actually a huge pop in volume. Um, volume one here. Sorry, guys, my chart's not functioning that well right now. I'm not wrong, but you see here, it's a little faint here, but on the black, you'll see that there's a very high spike of red here, which is the selling volume. And my so we essentially we're only up a little bit, half percent since pretty much um, the big pop earlier this morning. We had a head and shoulders pattern play out, and we were able to pretty much play that out. I think at 279, that was end of the head and shoulders pattern top, which you can see in the 5 minute. And I went ahead and I shorted 283 this morning. Um, just looked like it couldn't break out this yellow line. I unfortunately closed out my VIX trades this morning too, just because I thought I was a little too overboard with the shorts. If I did get over this yellow line, and if I knew the Gilead news came on, of course I would have held that VIX. But at this point, I'd rather just go ahead and not chase after the VIX because it did spike to even when the news came out. So I have my shorts around 282 here. So I added to my short. Uh, that being said, my strategy of trading is go for the home runs. I know in this volatile market that might not be a good idea, but that's how I trade. I go for the home runs. I'll take 10 swings as one of them doubles, triples, quadruples, whatever it does. Or no, it gives me the big gain. But if I'm able to set my stop losses in a correct kind of way, it's either going to save me, but it's also going to frustrate me like it has done in the last few weeks. So yeah, so I'm happy today's trade's actually working because it's very tough to see trades go backwards. Like I had to close my short from 2 days ago this morning too because I saw it coming back up. Luckily that was closing profit and I just bought it back. But yeah, so I'm just looking for the home run swing, and I think the home run swing is here. There are a lot of people flip flopping online. I'm not flip flopping. I'm full on recession bear mode. There's nothing in my mind that would honestly change how I would think, other than the price action. Price action is only artificial in my opinion. The stock market again doesn't represent the economy, but it will represent the state of affairs when all this information filters out. And when you have a drug, or I'm sorry, when you have indexes like for example IWM hitting 5% up limit on the futures, and then here today's news we barely dropped because of it. You can see how volatile the market is just based on fundamental news. And I think today's breakdown from this yellow line. I'll show you guys this yellow line here. Essentially, it's this uptrend. And today we were trying to climb back up into the uptrend, and we were forcibly denied to the downside. Whether or not the drug trial, the failed drug trial, was the reason why it fell from it fell and broke from the trend line, or it just it's coincidence. It's whatever. It's just that's the technical I was looking at. It was just essentially this 1 hour map, right? So we have this clear breakdown of the uptrend. We can see this is an established uptrend, right? We have this clear breakdown, and then yesterday was that slow retracement. So theoretically, if this wants to be a good bearish day, well, if this wants to be a good, reasonable market to me, I guess, we would see 272 earlier than later. And people also need to realize that we're still net down for the week. So this week we're still closing at a negative. So even with this high, whiplash back and forth, at least we're getting, a little bit negative, little bit negative. Tomorrow, the markets may rip. I don't know what's gonna happen until I see the close here again. Um, but it seems like it's just a sell and close, right? Sell and close yesterday. We popped up here, and then and again, how the price moves to me doesn't look like it's computer driven, really. It's just like the fucking, first hour, everyone says that market in, market orders, right? You've seen the graphs, and if you haven't, that there were like 100,000 users on Robinhood that bought USO for the first time when USO went to its lowest lows. So you can kind of see like there are people buying stock, right? And they're fiercely buying it, almost with no thinking behind it, almost thinking, in the options kind of how the options are priced kind of reflect this is that people are looking for the gains in 1 or 2 weeks. They're not looking towards the 6 or 1 year gain, right? They're not looking towards a long game. And I think again, I want to see the weekly here tomorrow close out red. That would be a win here for the Bears because at least we stop a little bit of that momentum upwards and don't consistently get those green bars over and over and over again. So hopefully we get a little sell and close action here. I think that this high here was the high here. 281.52. That to me is the high of the afternoon. I don't believe we're gonna pop above that. It's just too much technical damage was done with that drop this morning to and that was simply just a retrace. But again, this yellow line here is a very critical line for me. 271 is a critical line, it's a bounce line. But this uptrend really shows the overall picture. Overall picture, right? This uptrend is this line we've been floating on, and you can see there's a bunch of gaps here. Just the futures pushed it one way, the people during the day pushed it one way. But essentially, I like this to float down, of course. But we'll see. We'll see. We still have 1 hour to the market, so there's still plenty of 46. Let's tank it. I love it. Let's tank it. I agree. Like on the weekly again. Right. Last week SPY closed at 286. We're trading 280. So we are still down from the highs. So take it down. Let's take it down. That's all I gotta say. This weird looking thing. This looks like if you look at this on the, it just looks like a bear flag. Come on, and if you look at the other charts, so if you can look at the 2019, 2018, the trade war stuff, notice how there's no bear flag. It's because there is no bear flag, right? This is a clear definition of the bear flag breaking down. Because even now that I'm looking at it, like the late 2018 for the trade war again, when it fell, there's not really a flagpole, right? It kind of like chops and then falls. But here we have a clear defined flagpole. So, and one can actually even say there is actually a bear flag in here, right? That's the bear flag back in late 2018. So I bet you, if we do a measured move here, I mean that makes sense, yeah. Typical bear flag move breakdown, right? You measure the top to the bottom of the flagpole, and then you just Control C, Control V it, copy and paste the same amount of points, and move it over. That's how you usually measure things. So, and I mean, if this one in a I mean, if this is a true bear flag, theoretically it should go to 175. If yesterday was the high. I'm sorry, the high is the high. Right. But anyways, we're dipping back down here, 179. I fully think this will sell off into the end of the day. I think the closing is going to be a close, a sell and close. What's up, DGK? What's up, Thomas? So 2008, Thomas, if I remember correctly, Lehman Brothers went out first, and then the market rebounded, and then it crashed. Right. And honestly, the market felt like it died when Tesla did that crazy movement back in January, November, regardless of the virus, October, November, December, January, those crazy up move Tesla did. Again, that's a FOMO trade. That's the kind of trade I like. I've grown fond of those kind of trades where it's just nothing makes sense, only the price makes sense, right? Um, Unfortunately, it's fucking me here, right? But now we have Amazon in the last month doing these 50% up bullish moves, and it's currently trading near its all-time high. So this kind of movement here just shows me like there's no. How do I phrase it? Like the market's really moving on a lot of different things, and a lot of things don't actually matter, if that makes sense. The only thing that really should matter to fundamentalists is just earnings and revenue, right? It's not because you're shipping out more packages. It's not because you're putting thermal sensors in your warehouses. It's because your actual revenues are increasing, leading to higher earnings for the stakeholders. But anyways, none of that matters. I don't want to give a fuck about that. Obviously, that's no one gives a obviously the people trading the stock market right now don't give a fuck about that. We're looking towards. I think again, we're looking here at the scenario that um, options are being priced to the where people are looking forward for of looking for the 2 weeks, like the this week and next week, like a lot of action to happen. But they're not really looking for like a 3 or 4 month or 6 month kind of deal. And as I said, if you got the money, just sit on your hands. If you're not a trader, sit on your hands. It doesn't hurt to help and sit out. That being said, I am short, so I don't give a fuck about sitting out. I'm not short a lot of my portfolio. In matter of fact, I'm definitely not shorting, you know, a significant amount compared to how much capital I'm working with. Um, that being said, when I go long, I'm gonna do some massive fucking buys, and that's what I'm waiting for. The good buys, right? I don't want to buy now, sell later. I want to buy now, hold for 8 years. That's the goal here. It's not buy now, sell in a week. It's buy now, hold for 8 years. Because I believe in passive investing. I'm a huge fan of passive investing. I've gotten great gains over the last 3 years by simply just holding on to things and selling when you need to, right? Large cap is my favorite. They grow crazy, right? It's just again all FOMO. It's a recognizable name. It could pop. All news is good news. So DJK, maybe the market is holding on the thought 10 weeks is all we need to overcome this, but it's becoming more and more aware. That again, America's recycling a lot of old news. So this is why I know it's a pump and dump. Um, Gilead, their drug was tested in China like 3 4 months ago, 3 months ago. I'm pretty sure they had the results then, and they just had to do more more testing and more whatever scientific study to actually write a scientific report on it. But they would have recommended to everyone in the world to use the drug if it has succeeded, because I'm sure that's one of the first drugs they thought of, because they actually copied it in January and were trying to get it patented or something like that, something crazy. Because I mean, all this is a chemical formula, right? But they tested it and did not have good results. Even the hydrochloroquine, essentially the news story that brought us from the bottom. Again, the guy from the head of vaccines pretty much left the job because he opposed using that drug and opposed rushing to it. So guys, we're approaching 12:30. 7 more minutes. We're just steadily dropping towards the lows of the day. I fully believe that we will go down lower as the day progresses. And you just gotta look at this volume bar. This volume speaks a lot of words. It speaks a lot of words. And honestly, today is a very high volume day. Yesterday was the lowest volume in 2 months. Well, I want to see the volume for today, and it can only get larger from here. And I was looking at IWM today, so a coworker of mine, we had a discussion today. He's actually long on IWM, and I don't know. I think he's long through calls, and they expire I think middle of May. I don't know the exact strike of them, but he would like to see 130. I was conversing with him yesterday, and I know there's a few of you guys that do trade IWM, and here's my thought process of it. Right, we see MACD slowing down, right, and we have a lower high. Granted, if this price still goes up, the divergence will be killed. But we clearly have a lower high on MACD if we decide to turn down. But we have... I'm sorry. I'm looking at something else. A flat MACD. It's flat. It's going to get flat from this point too. Right? But the price here is declining. So if you see anything where the MACD's peaks or valleys, or either, hitting some kind of support or something like that, or either slanted and the price is differing, that means if the MACD is slowing but the price is increasing, that's the issue, right? If the MACD is increasing but the price is slowing, that's another issue. Essentially, those are divergences in the price that says there's something that's coming up that essentially would make this complete again, right? So either one has to go down, one has to go up, and it's usually the price that essentially sorts itself out. But here we have a similar kind of triangle on IWM. You see the Russell 2000, which is okay. So there's one Russell 3000, Russell 2000, Russell 1000. Russell 1000 is large caps. Russell 2000 is the second. It's the 2000 of the 3000, and those are small medium caps. And then the Russell 3000 is the combination of Russell 1000 and Russell 2000. This is the Russell 2000, right? Notice we have not made a new high in the last week, right? This hasn't been as bullish as the other equities, in comparison of where they dropped from, right? We do have this triangle. On the 1 hour chart, you can see it much more clearly, right? Today looks like a bull trap. Why? because we have this triangle trend trading very well. It tried to break out today, and even in my if you guys were in the Discord, I was thinking about longing IWM. I really thought about longing IWM today, and it was contingent on a few factors. It was mainly contingent on the fact this held. So if we actually held above here, if we were somehow to break above 122 for IWM at the end of the day, that's probably a good hold right there, because then I have no doubts it will go shoot towards 130 to 134 levels. But we didn't. We got pushed down by the drug, and that timing is just so weird. It was like, SPY trying to climb back up its uptrend, and it was just perfect timing which slammed it down. But IWM is suffering from the same fate. Although it's not trying to reclaim its uptrend, it broke the uptrend a long while ago. It's just kind of floating sideways here. It did not break out this triangle, which you would think either breaks to the upside or to the downside. So in my opinion, we test 118, 119 here IWM relatively sooner than later. And if it wants to bounce from there, so be it. But I don't think we're to go any higher, just because we have this channel medium, which is pushing it down, and then we also have this pressure of this triangle that's essentially pushing it together. And IWM, again, should signal where the market wants to go. Small, medium businesses are much more riskier. They drop and rise much more fast than large caps. But large caps have been vastly outperforming these small caps. Sorry about that. We get this little pop here, but I really don't think we do anything. We're on the 5-minute chart right now. I've been taking a few losses here in the last few weeks, so I'm decided I'm done with the 5-minute. I'm only showing when I'm trading with you guys the 5-minute. I'm gonna stick with my 1-hour chart. I'm gonna stick with what's been working for me in the past. I don't know why I've been looking at the 5 and 15 so much. We're gonna go back to the 1-hour chart here. At least I am. I think it shows a lot more detail than what it just because the price moves so fast. The 5 minutes is just so hard to take track off. But I think the 1 hour really shows the way. Right, this kind of looks like mumbo jumbo on the 5-minute. But if you look at the hourly, it's clear as day. The chart, the uptrend is broken. All right, that's clear as day. So we're trading at 279.50. Is there a good large cap ETF? SPY? I don't know. I'm sure you can find like large cap. Yeah, I'm sure there's like 50 of them, dude. If you look, I'm sure there's 50 of them. Oh, thank you, Cucumber. Thank you, my mysterious friend. And that's why I think I've been not playing individual stocks.
How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Leo, you there? No, don't know where he went. But yeah, yeah, so we're just watching the price here. I don't think it's gonna drop hard, but I don't think we're gonna get a wild pop. I think the wild pop's out of the question. If it wild pops here into the close, I'll be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? But I expect a market close. It's just like market close, just like yesterday. Because I just see no strength in price. There's a difference between a bullish pop, right? And there's just floating, the floaters, right? That just the algorithm take it up, kind of bullish trend, kind of algo, right? Like we gapped up yesterday, and then we barely moved up from the gap up until we got slammed down, right? The gap up, just ignore the gap up. It's the intraday movements that I like to see. I don't care about the gap up or gap down. It's intraday movements that make the price particular to me. Anyways, 12:33 here, so finally into the second half of this last hour. Margin calls are probably dinging all over the place. Question is, who are they margining? Bulls or bears or everyone? Because I'm not gonna lie, today was a very whiplash kind of action. So if you were, I could see someone being either position, playing this there bearishly and playing this bullishly, and still being caught. Today was a very hard day to trade, mainly because of the fundamentals. I think I was just a little bit lucky because I was just being very active this morning, just paying attention. I don't know. But if I were to flip flop any sooner, I would have been chopped in half. Right? If I did decide to go long this morning, I would have been chopped in half by now. But luckily, that did not happen. Okay, so Doug, I will tell you the story. So what I did was I made a social media marketing app called Womp. It's called the Word of Mouth Power. Essentially, it was like a Yelp and an Instagram put together. So if you understand China, they don't have any American apps. So I developed this with my former boss, which I worked for his PE fund when I was in South Africa. And we developed this app within a few years. Actually, took us pretty. Actually, we actually were able to develop this pretty fast. We got listed on both iOS and all the major Android stores, minus Google Android, because that's not in China. And essentially, I went to China to help facilitate the B2B businesses, and I essentially stayed in Chengdu and Sichuan province, and also in Beijing too as well. I lived there approximately for a year. We were accepted as an accelerated program in the 2019 startup as one of their first accelerated. But the thing is I worked really hard. We were able to get investments. The company's still running, so you can still go ahead and download the app. It's called WOMP Womp. It's in Chinese, and you need a Chinese number to access it. But it's cool stuff. It's like businesses decide on how much the CPM is and stuff like that. And essentially, it's a cooler version of Instagram. But Instagram actually has what we like to say has stolen a few of our what we thought was unique to us. But unfortunately, it was just really bad timing because we got this coronavirus in China. I left the project because I had conflict with my co-founder, because I believed in the one app, one market kind of thing, where in order to become the best, you need to ramp fast. And essentially, after we created the app, I was on B2B and I was trying to do the B2B connection, and I got a really big network because of the B2B. For example, one of the co-founders of Xiaomi was our friend too. So just some cool stuff. Able to meet a lot of people and network, but I found out that teamwork is pretty essential in working together on a startup, and I'm just not familiar. And me working with all Chinese investors and Chinese people really opened me up on how the East does business and how the West does business, and it's completely different of how people influence each other too as well, even in social media. For example, one thing in America that people find unique to Americans is, I don't want to be sexist here, but like guys going to pick up chicks at the bar, where a guy can just simply go up to a girl and say, "Hey, what's up? What's your name? My name is E. How are you?" Like that's for like someone in China. That's not people do in China. They meet on these like online apps and stuff. It's like all virtual. So you kind of like got to factor all this shit in, and then try to somehow I don't know, adapt. And we were making this app for the female audience, right? But the only thing is that we had a bunch of males working on it too, and I want to diversify with more female insight and stuff like that. But I was there's a lot of pushback because my capital contribument to this project was not significant enough for me to say, this is what we're doing, right? If someone's pouring $1 million into this project, they're going to be calling the shots. It doesn't matter what your say is, and especially in China, they're gonna be, oh, fucking jump off the cliff. You're gonna jump off the cliff. Like, there's no talking back. And that's one thing I do kind of like in China, that you can treat your workers like shit, but it's not a good thing, right? We're all in this together, right? So I did work on that project for over a year, 2 years. Unfortunately, I just didn't get money. I didn't get paid, right? My time is worth something to me, and I want to get paid. So that's why I left there. I was able to get them into this program and everything. And wherever my boss takes it from, or I call him my boss, takes it from here. But I essentially cycled on. I used all those talents I got, my networking skills. I moved on to a new project from there. I'm just very fortunate because it was kind of like a very cool thing I was working on. I got to meet a lot of a lot of um, a lot of cool people too as well. Like very powerful PE and VCs. Very cool stuff. So that's what I've been doing. So in 2017, I left you guys, and I left you guys with this. Long, don't fucking look back. Just buy every single fucking dip until something changes, right? And now I'm back here, 2020, saying, hey, don't long anymore. The fundamental shift is here. This is the shift, right? This is something, you can hear it on the news. This is something that may change our lives forever, how we conduct business and everything. That's the shift. This is real shit. China trade war, fake shit. Fakest shit ever, Chinese trade war, because tariffs just offset costs to the consumers. Everyone fucking knows this. Tariffs don't matter. A 5% tariff, a 10-15% doesn't matter. It's just going to be charged to the consumer. China's just going to peg their currency. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Right? They can peg their currency, and 250 billion just seems like peanuts. And look, I know how businessmen operate. And matter of fact, I'm trying to get financing for my current company I'm doing for. So if you know anyone with $15 million and wants to invest in green energy, hit me up. But right now I don't really expect that to happen because of the current conditions. But it is what it is. Yeah, so I'm very familiar how the Chinese operate and how the East operate. Very different ways. And I'm also got very good at talking to people, seeing people one-on-ones, being able to explain a thought more thoroughly, essentially diving deep and finding solutions to those problems that people have. And yeah, I mean, again, East West, and that's why I was so on this in January and February, because I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. That's why I had to sell, because there's no way I was arguing against science about the aura, how this duplicates, how the virus duplicates, and how bad affects. I know Chinese numbers were fake. I can tell you with absolutely certainty the numbers you see from the Chinese websites about the coronavirus cases and deaths are not accurate. 100%. But I can also tell you the Americans aren't accurate at all. But at least they're not actively trying to conceal it. Americans are just us Americans are just very bad at it. I think I posted on my LinkedIn, the Chinese may be liars, or Chinese may be fudging the numbers, but the CDC is being straight up just ignorant, right? The CDC was very ignorant in February. If you look at the warnings and everything like that, they were very ignorant in February. But the Chinese was definitely hiding their numbers, and I'm pretty sure the Chinese made it feel like this coronavirus was going to destroy everything, and that actually upset Americans. So now the only way we get back at them is to say, hey, you unleashed the virus. Because you can't say, hey, you purposely released this virus, and then you kind of held back to make sure you fuck everyone else but yourself. Or you can't say that. So the only thing you can say as an American, American power would be say, hey, it's China's fault. They should have contained it, right? That's the only thing you can say. But essentially, you're saying, hey, don't we fucked us. And honestly, I don't think it's China's fault at all. It's a virus. Just wash your hands. It's just an uncontrollable event. The Spanish flu came from America. More people have died in the Spanish flu since anything, I think, really, right? Other than just death. But yeah. What kind of energy? So essentially, a kinetic flywheel. So we have so my current company, Kinetic Traction Systems. It's essentially my uncle acquired it through his PE firm back in like 2011 or 2012 or something like that, and then his PE firm was acquired by someone else, and now they're trying to go public in Shanghai. So I was given the task. I pretty much my life. If you ever watch the TV show Succession, right? My life is literally the combination of the three brothers. I don't know if you guys watch Succession, but my life is literally the combination of the three brothers in Succession. But anyways, kinetic traction. It's a flywheel essentially. Instead of using chemicals like lithium ion, it's a flywheel, right? It was first developed alongside with NASA at Uranco. Around $100 million was put into this like, technology. Essentially, you have a centrifuge that spins really fast, right? And this can store energy, millions of times over versus, Tesla batteries, lithium-ion batteries that can only store things, 2,000 cycles, 2,000 to 4,000 cycles. You're done in a lithium-ion battery. But for us, we're mechanical, right? It's kinetic energy, right? It's movement. You're just spinning this wheel super fast, super cold, right? And then essentially, what you can do then is when we're the first application of this process has been through trains. So we have one working set in Beijing and one working set in actually the LA Gold Line, and we're expanding to the UK and also Japan, Korea, Thailand too as well. I don't know what the status of everything is, but everything's on pause right now, of course, right? So essentially, a train comes by, and when the train brakes, it takes that energy from the brake, just like a Tesla or a hybrid car, anything like that, and it converts it into this kinetic mechanical energy, and essentially winds up this centrifuge and spins the centrifuge so fast that when the train starts back up again, it shoots it right back into the train. And this energy is just straight up recycled, right? It's the energy the train had to use to brake. And we can essentially generate a lot of energy. One of these things can essentially, the ROI is 4 to 5 years. We can generate like a megawatt an hour or something like that. Or I gotta double check because I'm not, I haven't caught up with, but we've been experimenting with I think each train is a megawatt that we spit back every time it stops. Or what we can do is when the train stops, we can essentially recycle the energy and spit it back to the grid too as well. Just like solar energy. How you can sell solar back in. Essentially any energy that we don't use to repower the train or the train doesn't need it, we can just spit it back to the grid. A much more advanced version that Tesla's using. Much more advanced. Tesla just knows how to do their chemical batteries. Tesla's really good at their chemical batteries. The thing that is, the mechanical batteries can't store for long. That's the thing. So as soon as you absorb the energy, right, you have to spit it back fast. You have to throw it somewhere. If you don't throw it somewhere, it's just gonna be dissipated and it's just gone, right? So you have to spit it back. Now Tesla lithium ion, like it holds charge. Our battery cannot hold charge, but there are no chemicals. It is, like lithium ion batteries are not green because of how they make them. Our batteries are pure green, right? Because you look at these hybrid systems already exist, but they're using, lead acid batteries, lithium ion batteries, right? Again, you got to replace those batteries. X amount of cycles. For our mechanical kinetic energy flywheel, millions of cycles it could run through before it fails. But anyways, okay. We're in the last 13 minutes here. And if you guys know anyone that would like a 4 to 5 year ROI on a project and wants to help us with the Georgia train line, in the Atlanta train line, $15 million. This we're looking for project financiers or even part of the IPO possibly. So, and I'll cut you a share too. But the thing is, no one likes this kind of the issue that essentially I was brought onto the team because the biggest issue is that it's an American company, right? We're here in Chatsworth, California, but no one in America gives a fuck about clean energy. Like the directors of this company of KTS, they're all high ranking in multiple trains and transport systems. They're high ranking guys. And the one issue is that you don't take something that's working and you put something new on it that can possibly break it. That's why we haven't gotten rid of coal yet. It's because coal still works. We don't need to get rid of it, if that makes sense. And essentially, we don't want to add risk onto our projects that are functioning. For example, if we implement one of these flywheels on any train system, for example, any train in New York, and it breaks the train or it breaks the station, that's big dog doo-doo for us. And also, New York City actually has one of the most primitive versions of our system actually already installed. But they're not running kinetic batteries. All their batteries are chemical batteries. That's the difference between us and anyone else. Kinetic versus chemical. Anyways, we're kind of just trading here near the yesterday's close. Really not looking bullish, but I just want to see the volumes gonna come in, guys, in the next 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes of the trading day. A little bit of buying close, selling close, a little bit of everything here. And I actually, before this quarantine shit, I actually had a meeting with someone at SpaceX. We'll talk about this too. Unfortunately, none of this can go down. Literally, like everything I had been doing stopped in January. Ugh. Yeah, but seriously, if you guys know anyone that likes to do these kind of industrial projects, hit me up. Like it was weird because we're definitely past, like we're right before growth, early growth. It's like we're in such a weird shape, and the reason why, I'll tell you guys, from a VC perspective, my company is not good. Our company is in heavy debt. There's a reason my company's PE company, my uncle's PE company, purchased this company, right? A PE company doesn't buy good companies; they only buy crappy companies and push them up again. Well, this crappy company was previously bought by PE, so our firm bought out another firm that bought this. So you can understand how much debt this company is. When you put $100 million into a project and your ROI is like not that high at all, this thing is gonna go bankrupt. And that's why Urenco, which is they process 37, or Urenco is the world's largest uranium refiner in the world, and that's why they had to sell this technology off, because they put $100 million fucking into this shit, and no one's using it because no one cares about green energy. And the thing that we have to think about now is that it used to be whatever Americans are doing, you copy the Americans, right? Whatever the Americans do, you copy them because they're the best. What America does is the best in every single aspect. America does things best. But that viewpoint has slowly shifted over the last few years where companies can go, hey, this is a Chinese made product. It is even better than what the Americans can make. Right? That shift is starting to happen. I've seen that shift happen, and that's why I'm doing my project because people are, and I'm a global project guy. I'm not just talking from Chinese perspective. I'm talking about from the Africans, the Europeans, the South Americans, everyone. Everyone's starting to trust Chinese tech more than American tech, and the only ones that don't know this are the Americans, which is me. But luckily, I am Chinese American, so I get the best of both worlds. I can see through an unbiased way. The Chinese are clearly trying to conquer the world. Clearly. They're clearly trying to take power away from America, of course. And America is doing this exact same back. That has to happen. Right? That has to happen. But again, it's just all politics. Just things that have to happen because, we're either one race or another, one national, whatever. Everyone's different. I mean, today's close, very, very boring, right? We barely close positive, we barely close negative. Maybe there's another push here. Maybe another selling close as soon as this 5 minute bar closes up. I don't know. I don't think a big pops here coming, guys. I really doubt it. Oh shit, guys. I've been on mute the whole time in my chat, so maybe that's why you haven't been able to hear me in my general chat. I'll be
Yeah,
talking on YouTube though. Sorry, Leo.
that was really weird though.
What's
It
up?
was really weird. Hey, what's up, man? That was weird. We're just talking in the YouTube, and here, like, I said, okay, he's discriminating now. Now,
So I'm gonna warn everybody in my YouTube channel. You better watch out for those pesky Chinese people because they have one goal in mind: is to make a fuckload of money. Everyone in China wants to make money, and they want it to be the best. And if you can't, and again, you used to be take something American. Again, this sounds horrible because it is. It's not the way I would do things. Take a thing that's already done, copy it, and you mass fucking produce it. That's it.
yeah.
That's literally it.
For how long it's gonna
Chinese are
go?
not innovators
Because
because of the CCP. The definition of communism is like a hive mind. Everyone thinks alike. Everyone thinks together. So in China, there is no imagination. People cannot do anything new in China, in my opinion. They cannot think new. They can only copy old, and that's where the Chinese will fail. But luckily, they have been getting better out of it. I don't know if it's luckily or, but Americans have been getting worse out of it. Americans have been getting lazy as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. The American start. I've seen some crazy startups in America, but I've also seen some crazy stupid startups in America too. Mine was
oh yeah,
crazy stupid in China.
what was it?
I already went through it, man. I'm sorry I didn't unmute my mic in the Discord.
Oh, that you were talking about the company, Green Company, or something like that.
But again, yeah, I was just telling them like I think the Chinese knew what they were doing with this and they're pesky. I don't think they covered up the amount of deaths, but I don't think it's covered up that much because they actually forced people to go home and stay home. I think China is fighting in power struggle, just like uh, was this the Secretary of State said today. Um, how essentially China's going for a power grab, and I've been trying to import masks. My another relative of mine make up to 200,000 masks a day, and I have not been able to get any masks on the fear of either one, the Fed seizing it, two, China not being letting us ship it out, so we have to smuggle it out, and I'm not willing to do that. So I just instead passed the information to New York State instead. My um, yeah, it's very.
Yeah.
I mean, again, when I first thought about it, I thought about making a lot of money doing it. But then after I read the price gouging things, it's like might as well just bring it over here. Cost. But you know what? The thing is, the materials are so expensive that you can't even buy it. Like it costs $1 to make a surgical mask. One of these things. That's that's crazy. To make a like a authentic surgical mask, it costs up to $1. It used to cost them pennies, and my relative said to us that it literally does not cost pennies anymore. It can get as much as $1 per surgical mask. Zero Dragon, there's still the Chinese are the wealth inequality in China is pretty gross. Pretty it's pretty. I'm sure there are a lot of farmers, but you know what? The Chinese, why do Chinese people need to farm? They're buying all their agriculture from America, right? Trump, 250 billion tariffs. You know what? I hated Trump and I love Trump. I hate Trump. I love Trump. It's like a love-hate relationship between Trump. Honestly, I love this trade war. Someone should have stuck. Someone should have done this earlier because the Chinese really are taking, getting a lot of gains for easy money, easy trade. If you have half a brain cell, if you look at all the rich Chinese men in China, every single rich Chinese, like when I say rich, I mean like a lot of money, like guys that own hotels, like multiple hotels, multiple cafes, big name chain cafes, like electronic designers, stuff like that. Big name guys, right? One thing stuck out with me, and not necessarily to the part of like large cap IPO companies like Xiaomi, like the Xiaomi guy, but um, a lot of these OGs don't have any, never went to school, never went to college, dropped out in high school. That's the funny thing. I met a lot of wealthy people in China that never went to school, and all they did was hustle, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, import, export, import, export. That's how they got rich. And also, I just want a disclaimer: if you guys don't know what ethnicity I am, I'm Chinese American. I was born in Philadelphia. So, anyways, we're going
Mm.
negative. Yay! Close of the day. So we close the day negative slash unchanged. Pretty uneventful. Well, well, yeah, big volume, a big sell and close. I'm sure the sells came earlier in the day, but let's see where we go from here, guys. We had a pretty, this is almost one of those days where we can say it's bullshit. The whole day was complete bullshit, right? Why was it bullshit? It's because we popped on nothing. Why did we go up today? No one fucking knows. Why did we go down? Because of a drug pop that shouldn't even have happened last week, right? So today is definitely kind of like where you can see free market working. I think today was like a clear free market kind of day, like arbitrage. Like we go up just based on optimism, right? And then we come down essentially saying this drug doesn't work, right? So the last week has been BS, Thomas, but baby steps here as bears. Let's look at the weekly. Strong push. We finish strong tomorrow on the week. Because the weekly bar is really where all the market makers are going to look at. They're not going to really look at. They're not looking at the 5 minute. The algorithms are looking at that. They're looking at the weekly bars, the monthly bars. You guys all watch CNBC and all guys watch Bloomberg. There's a reason why they don't show you 15-minute, 1 hour charts. It's because no one is looking at that from a standpoint. Everyone's looking from the weekly charts most likely. So strong push tomorrow by the
Or
Bears.
daily.
Maybe we'll see. But the momentum has, I think, swung. I think changed today. I definitely like if you look at the daily on SPY, right? This is a reversal candle. This is my favorite candle.
Pin
This means get down, get down.
bar.
No, a shooting star.
Oh yeah, the reversal of pin bar, the shooting
So
star.
we
Sorry.
have a pin bar before and then shooting star. Pin bar, a pinwheel or whatever, a doji I would like to call it. Essentially says bears and bulls pulling it from both sides. Don't know where it goes, but today's candle was a pure rejection from the top, right? Pure rejection from the top. So let's look at IWM. Again, IWM should show us the way. IWM finished up 1%, but look, it's still in this triangle. It didn't break out. And I fear too much the medium is pushing it down. And also I fear too much for the European markets, guys. The Europeans are not doing that good. If you guys look at the Hansen, or even the Asians too, look at the Hansen in Hong Kong, and look at stocks in the EU, and those charts, and the Nikkei even in Japan, right? Those charts all look like SPY, except for the fact SPY looks like it's on steroids compared to these charts, right? I would like you guys, if you have some time today, just look at like EU stocks or DAX. Those every single if we subtract the American markets from global indices, I can say that the markets are trading relatively fair and relatively strong in strength, and well, relatively, they're correlated, right? The one market that is being just ferociously bullish are the American indices, and you can just even look with your naked eye. You don't even have. You can just even do a short measurement. You can see stocks hasn't bounced, DAX hasn't bounced, Nikkei hasn't bounced, Hansen hasn't bounced. None of these other markets in any places other than the US have bounced. And it seems like to me, everyone is just trading the American market, and that's a buy. So that's why I think when it comes to the bear flag breakdown, that we can truly hit some of these low targets. That we can truly, like, when I say that IWM can actually hit $50 in the future, you're here saying, Eric, that sounds stupid. Look at you. Look at you. You're stupid. 50 sounds so dumb. But you need to factor in a recession/depression. And where does that take us? The 50 on IWM. That takes us to 2009 levels, right? Revert back to the mean. That is very well possible. It is scary to think of it, but anything is possible in these markets. Trust me. If we irrationally go up for 4 years from 2016 to 2020, we can irrationally go down just as fast. And that to me is horrible situation. I don't hope IWM goes to 50. I really hope IWM doesn't go to 50, because I'm probably going to buy IWM before it goes to 50. But if it does, again, don't be surprised. Anything can happen. It's been a price in the past. It can go there very well again. And again, this might take like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Right? This can take a long time. Bear markets last fractions of the time. We have 11 years of bull. I can say 2 or 3, 4 years of bear sounds normal in relation, right? Or I really don't believe 1.5 months of bear. 1 month bear. We're done. Don't believe it. Again, swing from the top, we hit from home runs. If you don't like my strategy, you can sit out, because that's how I've been trading, and that's how I'll be educating for the home runs. No different if we were in the bull market, we buy, lock, and load for going upwards. It's no difference in the bear market. We lock and load, but instead we're on the short side instead. That's the only thing that's different. Bear market, short the pops. Bull market, buy the dips, hold them, churn them, and just profit. Go buy yourself a fucking car and house, right? After you're done. Or you can just do it the other way. Wait till the market goes back down and go long. You don't have to short. Again, shorting is artificial. It's fake. It's very hard to do. It's not meant to be like a real thing. But they let it happen. So we're going to short it. Again, if you don't have the time, if you're working all day, sit on your hands. Still no long call for me. I'm still not giving out my long call. I still think we're in a bearish market going farther lower. And I still refuse to buy all equities. And just the last stock of the day, I want everyone to look at Uber and tell me what you think tomorrow. Or tell me what you think tomorrow, yeah. Everyone take a look at Uber and let me know what you guys think. It is just trading so weird to me. So freaking weird to me that I don't know what's going on here on Uber. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. And this is happening since late April. Since what? Since late March. So I can't tell if this is gonna be one of those bullshit doubles that's been happening recently, or if this is gonna come just fucking just die. I can't tell. It's because it just looks like I can't even tell if this is distribution or accumulation because it happens all within pretty much the next day. It's like a buy 26.40 and then just sell at 28.88. I don't know why. I don't have any rhyme or reason why Uber is trading like this. It's so repeatedly on a multi-day scale. Now, if I told you this was like the 5 minute scale, it'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But this is the 1 hour between multiple days. So if someone can figure out why Uber is trading like this, I would love to know. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks again, Cucumber.
You out?